get into. We're just getting into the game last night, Eagles and Bucks, and I don't think you can turn on that tape or turn on that video, turn on that game last night, and not notice that Jalen Carter is an absolute game wrecker. And I feel like every time we see Jalen Carter, we always talk about, look, he was by far, I think, the unquestioned number one talent in the draft.
Yeah.
Were you worried about some of the off-season situations, some of the personal decisions that he's made? And I think a lot of general managers, at least 7 of them, ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles, decided that they were too concerned by that. But if you're Brad Holmes, did you or did you not make the right choice on passing on Jalen Carter? And I say yes. Because you've got a running back now in Jahmyr Gibbs that you would not have.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. I don't think that that he would have been around. What did they pick?
They had 2 picks.
What did they pick? 6 and 20?
No,
6
early.
and 12, I'm pretty sure.
No,
Well,
6 and 18.
Yeah.
6 and 18.
6 and
I
18.
don't think Jahmyr Gibbs would have been there at 18. I don't think he would have been there at 18. 2, I don't think Jack Campbell would have been around in the 2nd round either. And I don't think you would have had Brian Branch either, because you actually traded up with the Green Bay Packers to get Brian Branch. There could have been so many dominoes affected by this. You would have had Jalen Carter and X.
Okay.
Or you would have had Gibbs, Campbell, and a guy that I think is kind of being turned into one of the most dominant safeties potentially in the league for the next 10 to 12 years is Brian Branch. And I think I wouldn't give that up. I would not give that up, personally, for me.
Agree to disagree. And what I say about why I disagree is you had 6, you had 18. You could have got Jalen Carter and whoever the hell ever you wanted at 18. You could have picked Jack Campbell at 18. You could have taken Sam Laporta if you felt that high on him at 18. You could have taken Brian Branch, or you could have packaged the deal with 18. And Brad Holmes does a lot as it relates to packaging deals and getting more deals, getting more picks. So he could have did some version of that. My thing is this: yes, those players may end up being damn good players. Brian Branch had a damn good game this past week. Jalen Carter has been a wrecking ball for the first 3 games of the season. He has dominated. He's already playing at top 5 level in that league. You could have got him, and you could have got another one of those picks. When you get a guy like Jalen Carter and you say that, I think 7 GMs pass. Ryan, the Panthers.
Forgot about Laporta.
The Panthers, they needed a quarterback. They weren't going to take Jalen Carter regardless. The Houston Texans, they needed a quarterback, and they had that in their back pocket.
They traded up for Will Anderson.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they had their quarterback. They traded for Will Anderson. The Colts, they're going to take Anthony Richardson. That's another quarterback off the board. So you're basically looking at 4 or 5 teams that passed on him. It's not like Randy Moss, who 21 teams passed or 22 teams passed, and I can say that. Look, he made a dumb decision, I think, in Atlanta, or Athens, Georgia, down there at University of GA. I think he paid for it. I think he always was going to be this dominant. This dude was the most dominant player in a national championship game that featured 2 Heisman Trophy winners and 12 first-round picks. He was the most dominant player in that game 2 years ago in the national championship. We knew who he was. We knew who he was going to be. Sometimes you got to take a chance, and I understand taking the nice guys and the good guys, but Jalen Carter is the type of thing. Aaron Donald, you put him in the middle. You name guys like they don't come out around very often, and I just think that he was a guy that we knew it. Like, we knew what he was going to be, and I just think we could have taken the chance. I forgive. I don't forget.
Listen, I love our 4 rookies that we took. I love the whole rookie class.
Can I just say, Maz, quickly before you get in?
Please.
You're basically deciding Carter, and let's just say you do get Jack Campbell. Jalen Carter and Jack Campbell, or Gibbs, Campbell, Laporta, and Branch. You have an extra pick.
We had a high second anyway.
We had high second round and 2 first
From where?
rounds.
Your high second. You got the high second from Arizona.
Yeah, because Arizona went up to get the O-lineman.
Yeah. Oh, they got
Paris Johnson.
Yes, Paris Johnson.
41 they would have had. So the Arizona Cardinals took B.J. Oluwajara. I don't know who he is at 41.
Listen, man, we don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
We're playing a what-if game. We do know this. If you had Jalen Carter, he was your next Ndamukong Suh, even better. And you put him on the line, and what do we always say about the defensive line? Get to the quarterback. My God, could you imagine what it would have looked like to have this kid on that O-line, on that defensive line? This kid he's a can't-miss prospect. The only reason they passed on him is because he's a bad driver. He made some bad decisions. Guess what? This is the NFL. Let's go up and down the laundry list of guys that aren't choir boys. All right? And this kid, he made a bad mistake, leaving the scene of an accident, doing what he did. People died in that accident. And teams shied away from him. And guess what? They're all going to pay for it.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody doesn't have clean driving records in the NFL. But with that being said, Jalen Carter, you just knew the type of talent he had. Now, with that being said, still could be a situation where we're going to see how this plays out. Got to see what Brian Branch is. He seems like a guy that's going to be a long-time line. Like, I know it's only game 3, but he just seems like a guy that will be a long-time line. He'll be here. He'll re-sign here. He likes the energy here. He seems like a Benny Blaze type guy. He will always be a Detroit Lion. Got to see what Jack Campbell's going to do. Haven't really seen Jack Campbell fully implemented into the defense. And it's not like that defense is necessarily a world-beating type defense. So I want to see where's Jack, and they're starting to get Jameer involved. More touches last week with David Montgomery out. So we'll see. We'll see.
I don't know this for sure, but I say this with somewhat of a feeling that I'm right about this. If they draft Jalen Carter at 6, they certainly do not get the 2 guys in the second round that they got, and that's Sam Laporta and Brian Branch.
They would have got one of them.
I don't think they would have got either one of them, personally. You could be right, I could be right, you could be wrong, I could be wrong. We just don't know what we don't know. But I just have a feeling that the 2 guys that they were able to get in the second round, Laporta and Branch, would not be Detroit Lions right now. And I would submit to you that Laporta and Branch are 2 of the biggest reasons right now why the Lions have won 2 of their first 3 games.
They are.
And you just don't know how things are going to turn out. But Laporta could end up being a top 2 or 3 tight end in this league. Brian Branch could end up being a top 2 or 3 safety in this league. So I would take those 2 positions for me and ensure that I get Laporta and Branch. I would take those 2 in a situation every day and twice on Sunday over Jalen Carter.
Well, the good thing is hindsight is 20/20, but I stay still in front sight. At the end of the day, you're talking about basically 3 for 4. Like you're saying the 4 players they got is worth more than the 3 that they could have got, because we don't know that Brian Branch would have not gotten picked by the time their 41 pick came up. Because who's to say he would have drafted? He's supposed to be a first round pick and slid to us in the second. So who's to say he doesn't keep sliding? Who's to say we can't get Sam Laporta? We still would have been able to get 3 of those players, and Jalen Carter's equals 2.5 of those players.
Well, you only had 1 pick in the second round.
So you get 1 for you had a 6 pick. You had a 6 pick overall. You had an 18 pick overall, and 41. That's 3.
Right.
So you'll get 3 of those players. I'll take Jalen Carter's 2.5.
I would
So
too.
the thing with Jalen Carter in that whole situation of us potentially drafting him, and even though we didn't, if you look at this roster, there's not a lot of troublemakers on this team. I mean, outside of this situation.
That's why we haven't won a playoff game since 1991.
Well, we don't know that yet this year. This year's not over.
I'm just saying.
Guys are all level-headed. They're straight.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing attitude-wise to even question about these guys. So that's why we didn't draft Jalen Carter, because there was questions. Obviously, we've mentioned this before, that there were questions around the whole situation. Was that really what he wanted to do? And you look at a guy like Sam Laporta, probably one of the nicest people on the team. He's very respected within the locker room. Brian Branch is, I think, like Ryan's saying, this is a guy that we are happy we got on, potentially defensive rookie of the year right now. So, I mean, I think the give and take is that we lost to Jalen Carter, but we got guys like Sam Laporta and Brian Branch who are probably a better package deal than just getting.
You
Jalen
guys
Carter.
keep saying we lost out on them. We could have still gotten 3 of them.
Well, you don't know that. We don't know.
We had 6-18. We had 6-18, and then we had a 4. We had 6-18 and 41.
You know he's going to make. You know he's going to
6-18
trade.
and 41.
Yeah, he's trading.
We would have been able to get 3 of those guys, including Jalen Carter. And I understand, yes, they go after level-headed guys. Who's to say he didn't have one bad night? One bad night. I've heard the players in the Detroit Lions say some things and be like, okay, they talking that cash. They just haven't got caught doing anything yet. I don't mind the team that we chose. It's still a conversation that we had. And then when you see game 3, as we're doing a show, right, and you're watching a guy that you thought could change the trajectory of the defensive line for the Detroit Lions continue to dominate in game 3. It's not like the Philadelphia Eagles are saying, hey, man, he's making some plays. Watch out for him. Hey, he could be something. He's already arrived.